We welcome all our viewers from around the world to today's edition of Money Moves. It's Thursday, July the 24th. I am Bosin Amofai, live here at the FMDQ studios in Lagos.
And I am Melissa Enoch. Thank you all for joining us on the show.
And this is your news now, and we begin in Rwanda, where the president, Paul Kagame, has appointed a new prime minister. Kagame replaces Edward Ngirente with Justin Nsengiyumva, who until now was the deputy governor of the Rwanda's central bank. The announcement was made via a government spokesperson's social media post late on Wednesday. The former central bank deputy governor, now the prime minister, was an economist and had played a key role in Rwanda's economic and political reforms. President Kagame is expected to seek a re-election in next month's Rwanda's presidential poll. In market news, Africa's biggest securities exchange, the GSE in South Africa, is looking to start a 24-hour non-stop trading on the bourse, in line with the developed global exchanges such as the London Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ in the United States. The GSE says the extended trading hours will allow investors to respond to global events in real time, improve competitiveness and market access. Now, the move is part of the broader structural reforms, which includes more flexibility in listing rules for smaller companies on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Now, for more on today's news now, let's cross over to Melissa. Hi there, Melissa.
Hello there, Bosing. Thank you very much. We're now starting off in Namibia, where the central bank earlier today formally launched the upgraded banknotes and the new coinage series. Let's now listen to excerpts of the launch presentation by the bank governor, Johannes Kawahab.
The prudent monetary policy pursued has translated into the gradual easing of our repo rate, a clear sign of long-term monetary stability. The repo rate has steadily declined from a high of 21% to its current level of 6.75%. At this prevailing level, Namibia's repo rate ranks among the lowest in sub-Saharan Africa, translating into more favorable lending conditions. Money plays a key role in our economy, in every economy. If, however, money needs to play its roles, it needs to meet three key tests. Apart from being a unit of account, apart from being a store of value, apart from a means of exchange, to serve society fully, money must actually meet three key criteria. That's singleness of money, elasticity of money, and integrity of money. The prudent monetary policy...
In the meantime, Visa Incorporated has launched its first ever data center in Africa. The data center was part of the $57 million investment that Visa's global processing network is making in South Africa. Africa's fast-growing digital payments market is projected to hit $1.5 trillion by 2030. South Africa's Communications Minister Solly Malatsi described the new Visa data center as a vote of confidence in the country's technology ecosystem and financial sovereignty. Kenya's iconic telecom and fintech giant Safaricom has reported a customer base of 50 million, the highest in more than 2 decades. The announcement came a few days after its Ethiopian subsidiary says it has crossed 10 million subscribers mark in the region's most populous economy. Safaricom, the most capitalized listed company on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, will mark its 25th anniversary in October. And finally, on News Now this Thursday, the Executive Vice President of FMDQ Securities Exchange, Jumoke Olaniyan, says there is a need to recapitalize other key sectors of the Nigerian economy after the conclusion of the ongoing banking sector program in March 2026. Jumoke Olaniyan, a financial and capital markets executive, was speaking on the state of the Nigerian markets and the economy on Wednesday in Lagos at a forum organized by Commercial Partners and Investment Banking Services Group. Let's take a listen.
There must be plans put in place, therefore, to then achieve this dream. And one of those plans was the recapitalization of the banking sector. So To answer that specific question particularly, is it required? Was it relevant? Yes. $1 trillion, not naira, dollar economy means multiples of growth in the economy. And therefore, you needed a financial system, obviously powered by banking sector, in our case, that were big enough to be able to absorb the sizes of the transactions that would take us to the $1 trillion economy. We needed financial institutions that were financially and stable to be able to absorb the kind of risk that comes with the multiplicity of the growth that we want to achieve to arrive at $1 trillion. So the banking capitalization, perhaps, yes, needed, and we needed to go there.
News now. I am Melissa Inoko. Bosin is standing by at the FMDQ ticker tape room for our markets round. Stand by, everyone.
All right, you're welcome back, everyone, to your Money Moves. This is how Money Moves market, and we're live here at the ticker tape room of the FMDQ Securities Exchange. Many African markets on the equity side are closed for the day, but let me just give you a sense of how the market closed here at the FMDQ today as far as the NTB's bonds and open market operations were concerned. We've got a total 324.98 billion naira was the total turnover today. The FMDQ, of course, that's the day after the central bank sold about 290 billion or offered 290 billion in 3 dated papers onto the market for the auction for the week. Of course, that takes place on Wednesday. So the day after, investors came in very strong via the secondary window at the FMDQ. 281 transactions were done today, and you can see the ticker tape running for the entire market just above my head here in the room. The biggest transactions came today via the NTB window of the FMDQ, and you can just read up the rest of the data. Roughly 325 billion naira today. The market investors coming in very strong, the secondary market and the FMDQ. Let's go back to equities. Of course, we're still tracking the equities, and you can see the numbers coming through. The market has been very strong today. Start from the bottom of the pile, as it were. The Zimbabwe stock market came back very strongly, 1.53% after going choppy for more than a week. That's a very strong rebound, taking the All-Share Index above the 197 reading. Go to the top of the table. Check the Nigerian NGX, 133. That's another record high, 0.48% today. The GSE, however, the biggest exchange in Africa, was down today, 0.54%, went back below the 100,000 reading, which where the GSE crossed yesterday. Of course, you've got the news that the GSE is now looking to go 24-hour non-stop trading. That is expected to increase the market access, liquidity, and availability of stocks, and the time to trade the GSE around the clock. The rest of the market, you can see, is the end of the trading week in Egypt, by the way. So the market is closed today, of course, officially at 34,12512. That's where we finished off on Wednesday. Now, let's return to South Africa. If you're looking at the government bonds, and that the bond is now going back to where it was for most of the week of last week, 9.9%. We're doing 9.84 today, 0.36% for the 10-year paper. The rest of the government paper that we tracked remain flattish Tuesday and through to Wednesday. That's according to investing.com, 1302 GMT. Take it away. Let's go to currencies. You can see the Naira remaining strong as far as its gain on the dollar was concerned. Better today at 1,531.15 against the dollar, 0.07. The Kenyan shilling was flattish at 129.20. Moroccan dinar was still holding it below the 9 level to the dollar by 0.12%, while the GSE was trading 17.59, about 0.34%. The CFA franc in West Africa was 0.65%. That's 558, a slight recovery against the dollar from where it was when we started the week. Now let's go to commodity space, and starting as always, oil prices. It's a breakout to the upside today. Oil, Brent crude, and the US WTI are looking for that 70 all over again, and that could happen for the London Brent 69.19 before the end of today's session. We got this data at 12:43 p.m. GMT, so you can see before the end of the day in futures, you can see $70 a barrel. WTI 66.03. Look at the metal prices. Gold remaining strong around $3,366, pulling back from $3,400. $3,420 an ounce was what some analysts say will be the price for gold average for the year. Now, that's slightly below that by almost 1%, although the appetite for safe haven remained very strong, not just for those who are buying in the street, but those who are piling up gold for reserves, looking at economies such as China, by the way, and other central bankers around the world. Copper prices heading towards 600 at 5.85 today, 12:46 p.m., 0.61%. Aluminum is cruising at that very new price level around 2,600, 2,640, 0.57. That's a slight meltdown today. Let's finish off, as always, on the soft commodities. Cocoa prices, 8,413. That's 0.32%. Pullback. Coffee prices now returning to around the 300 handle on the market. Ticker tape, 304.25. That's roughly 1% to the upside. That's no good news for coffee brewers. Then you have a palm oil still holding that 1,000 level at the spot market. Today, that went up 0.64% at $1,010.32 American cents. And that's just summarizing the markets for you today. You can keep your eye on the market for the rest of the day. And, of course, we continue from here in the days ahead. Live from the FMDQ trading floor. Of course, I am Bosin number 5. From me and the rest of the team, we say thank you for watching.